Hello, friends. I've been contemplating the thousands and thousands of missing persons in national forests around the world. There are literally thousands that have occurred in the past 10 years. And I believe I've probably read through dozens, if not 50 stories in the past couple of months, and I don't know what to make of them. Many people want to simply discount them and say, well, hikers got lost, they were inexperienced, maybe they fell and hurt themselves, maybe, there was animal predation, maybe they, when they fell and got injured, they fell into a ravine and they were just never found again. I understand that, and some of them are, and many, many more are not. There are investigators such as David Paulides and many others, even here on YouTube, dozens of channels who do nothing else but research these disappearances. And if it baffles them, then it certainly justifies my own befuddlement and not knowing what to make of some of these tales. Today we'll be covering briefly a few of these stories, and overall, I hope you will contemplate that something very bizarre is happening in our national forest, and it has been for a very long time. Our government and the FBI hasn't even begun tracking disappearances in national forests until very recently, in recent years. And so the actual numbers probably are much, much higher. Let's get started. Have you ever stood at the edge of a vast forest, the kind that swallows sound, where the air grows still and the path behind you seems to vanish as quickly as it appeared? There's something about the wild, something ancient, as though something is always watching. Each year, over 300 million people visit the national parks in the United States alone. They hike, they climb, they seek escape, but thousands of them never return. These are not simple accidents. They don't all fit the profile of lost hikers or injured tourists. In many cases, there's no evidence of a struggle, no tracks, no blood, no final scream, only silence. Many times search parties come up empty. Other times what they find only deepens the mystery. The Bennington Triangle. Nestled in the Green Mountains of southwestern Vermont lies a region some call cursed. Between 1945 and 1950, 5 people vanished from the same stretch of wilderness, a place that would come to be known as the Bennington Triangle. Paula Jean Weldon, just 18 years old, left Bennington College on a winter afternoon in 1946. She hiked out onto the long trail, a well-traveled path. Witnesses saw her walking alone, and then nothing. She never returned. The search was massive. Bloodhounds followed her scent, then lost it cold in the middle of the trail, as if she'd been lifted straight into the sky. There was no body, no clothing, no sign of a struggle, just emptiness. But Paula was not alone. In 1945, a seasoned woodsman named Mitty Rivers disappeared near the same area. In 1949, James Tedford vanished while sitting on a bus, his belongings still on his seat when the vehicle arrived at its destination. Then came Paul Jepson, age 8 in 1950. His mother looked away for a moment near a pigsty they visited regularly. He was never seen again. 5 disappearances in the same area under similar conditions, and no evidence as to why these people vanished. Theories have ranged from serial killers to strange energy fields. Some even believe this area holds a portal where the boundaries between dimensions begin to blur and may allow some to pass through to the other side. 1969, Dennis Martin in the Great Smoky Mountains. It was Father's Day weekend, and 6-year-old Dennis Martin was camping with his family near Spence Field in the Great Smoky Mountains. Dennis was playing a game of hide and seek with his brother and some nearby children. He ran off into the trees. His father watched him vanish into the green. Minutes passed, then hours, then days. Search teams with over 1,400 people, including the National Guard and Green Berets, combed the mountains for weeks. There was no trail, no scent, not even a shoe. But one report stands out. Another family hiking nearby that same day said they heard a scream, then saw something, a rough-looking man or possibly a hairy creature, running through the woods. It carried something over its shoulder, they said, something small. The story was never officially connected to Dennis Martin's disappearance, but the haunting words still linger. Catherine Van Alst, 1946, at Devil's Den. In 1946, 8-year-old Catherine Van Alst vanished during a camping trip in Devil's Den State Park, Arkansas. Catherine Van Alst, Devil's Den, 1946. In 1946, 8-year-old Catherine Van Alst vanished during a camping trip in Devil's Den State Park, Arkansas. She was playing near her family's cabin. One moment, she was there, and the next she was gone. For 6 days, authorities searched. With no food, no water, no protection from the heat, searchers prepared for the worst. And then they heard a voice. Deep inside a limestone cave, nearly 30 miles from where she disappeared, they found Catherine. Barefoot, calm, and oddly serene. She looked up at the searchers and said simply, "Here I am." She couldn't explain how she had gotten there. She had no injuries. She wasn't scared. It was as if someone had been taking care of her, or maybe something. Psychologists and investigators couldn't make sense of it. Stacy Ann Arris, Yosemite National Park, 1981. 17-year-old Stacy Ann Arris was part of a guided horseback riding group in Yosemite National Park in 1981. When they reached Sunrise High Sierra Camp, Stacy decided to walk to a nearby ridge to take photographs. She said she would be back shortly, and never returned. Search teams found only the lens cap from her camera, nothing else. Not a shred of clothing, not a footprint in the soil, and dogs lost her scent almost immediately. Some hikers later claimed to see a figure standing far away on a rocky ledge, a figure matching Stacy's description, but when they got there, the area was empty. To this day, her case file remains sealed. Even former park rangers question the official story. Some believe Stacy was taken. Others think she walked into another realm. Maybe she was taken, not by a person, but by a presence older than the park itself. The Alaska Triangle. There is a region in Alaska with a reputation darker than most, a stretch of land between Anchorage and Juneau known as the Alaskan Triangle. Since the 1970s, over 20,000 people have disappeared here. Planes vanish off radar mid-flight. Hikers go missing on well-marked trails. Whole communities have reported strange lights, odd time lapses, and unshakable feelings of being watched. In 1972, a plane carrying U.S. Congressman Hale Boggs disappeared while flying over this region. Despite one of the most extensive search operations in U.S. history, no wreckage was ever found. Some say the area is home to powerful magnetic anomalies. Others believe in interdimensional rifts. And among the native Tlingit people, legends speak of Kushtaka, a shape-shifting creature that lures people into the wilderness. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain. The land keeps its secrets. Nature doesn't explain itself. For centuries, we ventured into the wilderness for adventure, clarity, and healing. But the deeper we go, the more we realize we are visitors here, temporary and fragile. Some of the disappearances we've covered may have earthly explanations, accidents, wildlife, missteps, and unforgiving terrain, but others challenge logic and sanity itself. They bend reality. They suggest the existence of something else, forces we don't yet understand. The wilderness is a living memory. It holds the echoes of every footstep, every whisper, every vanished soul. But sometimes, when the wind stops and the birds fall silent, perhaps something else happens. So the next time you wander off trail, even just for a moment, stop, look around, listen carefully. Perhaps some places aren't meant to be found, and perhaps some who disappear never really leave.